Chica! So this is the fifth video in a series talking about why am I gaining weight in phase 3. So sometimes this happens to us where we're struggling in phase 3 and we don't know why. So I actually came up with 6 different factors that affect how you stabilize, how many pounds above your LDW and all of that. So the 6 factors are: 1, are you trying to stabilize the correct LDW weight? So that's important to get right. 2, did you eat fruits and or Melba Gracini on phase 2? 3, are you exercising on phase 3? 4, fats on phase 3. 5, adding calories full throttle or easing into it, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And then 6, can you stabilize a little higher more easily? So if you're wondering about some of those other factors, you can see the other videos in this series. But today in this video, we're going to be talking about the idea of whether or not you should just eat a bunch of food right away, add all your calories at once in phase 3, bam, go from 500 to 2,000 overnight, or if you should ease into it. So we'll talk about that. So I'm just going to admit to you guys that I was not very good about this in all my P3s, really. I was always very good about what I ate. So I was strict P3 in the sense of I did not eat starches and sugars. I was very strict about that. But when it came to how much I ate, I was not as good at. And, as a result, I have some steak days in my history. So basically, the smoother way to go about this is to gradually increase how much you eat in phase 3. And actually, if you really pay attention to the signals in your body and you stop eating before you get overly full, you'll actually find that you don't need a lot more food when you first start phase 3. You will need more food than the 500 calories, but you're not going to be needing 2,000 calories worth on the first day of phase 3. Your body has kind of adapted to eating less food, and so if you really use hunger as your guide and eat to that and stop when you're feeling satisfied. And again, you can learn all about this whole eating to hunger thing from Robin Woodall in her book, Weight Loss Apocalypse. I'm taking a little bit from that. But if you do that, you'll find that at the start of phase 3, you're not going to actually need a lot of food to get full. That's just how it's going to be at the start. And then, as phase 3 goes on and your body readjusts, most likely how much you eat will increase. And honestly, it really does make logical sense. Anytime you've been doing something kind of extreme and that's drastically different for a period of time, you can't usually just swing the other way overnight. I mean, it's kind of like if you've been totally sedentary for, 5 years, you can't often just, for instance, if you started CrossFit, you can't just go straight to doing CrossFit 6 days a week. From being completely sedentary. You're going to get too sore and you're going to injure yourself. You have to build up to it. For instance, when I first started CrossFit, I would get extremely sore after one workout, so sore I could barely walk, and I started out with going 2 days a week. And that's really all I could manage, And then my body kind of started adapting to it and getting used to it. And then I found I could go 3 days a week without, being constantly sore. And then now I'm at the point where I can attend CrossFit 4 days a week and it's fine. I do get sore, but it's not to the point where I can't do the workout or where I feel like I'm going to injure myself. But I could not have started out that way, going from being sedentary to, 4 days a week of CrossFit. So it really does make sense that when you're doing something and you want to start doing something else, making a gradual change, not always. I mean, sometimes, cutting sugar or smoking cold turkey can be the way to go. But in this case, it does make sense, I think, to gradually ease in with your calories. So in this case, you've just spent several weeks eating very little. Your digestive system has had a pretty big break. So to all of a sudden flood your digestion with a ton of foods that it hasn't been eating in a while, and then large amounts of it, it's probably going to be taxing to your body and kind of overburdening it, and you're not going to feel well as a result, and it may affect the scale as well. So if you're gradual instead and give your body time to adjust, most likely your weight will be more stable in phase 3, and you won't have as extreme of wild fluctuations. Okay, so now I'm waiting in dread for your next question, most likely, which is, well then, how many calories should I eat, when I start phase 3 and as time progresses? And the reason I dread this question is because I am not a calorie counter. I don't count calories. I hate calories. And so I don't know the answer for you on this. I think I tried counting calories for like 3 days out of my whole HCG journey, and I just couldn't handle it. It makes me mad and insane and makes me feel really restricted. And I've found that I don't need to do it. I have other ways that work better for me for keeping things in balance. Really, a much better guide to how much you would eat would be basing it on hunger. In that way, you can make sure you're not eating too much or too little. And again, really, the person who's kind of pioneered this whole idea is Robin Woodall. So definitely check out her book, Weight Loss Apocalypse. You can get it on Amazon.com, and there'll be a link to it in the video. I mean, not in the video, in the article that goes with this video. Sorry, you guys. This is like my 9th video that I've been recording today. I'm starting to lose it. But anyway, I really recommend that you check that out. And what I have found in general is that from the people that I observe, because I get to observe a lot of people on this protocol because of my website and my YouTube channel. So I've thousands of private email communications now with other HCGers. So there's people like me who tended to jump into P3 too fast. So, Dr. Simeons kind of led us to believe that you should, kind of jump into P3 and add your calories right away and start eating bacon and eggs. It's kind of what it seemed like when I read his protocol. And so that's what I did. But I did find that my P3s were rockier. Of course, there was other factors that came into play with that, which you can learn more about if you watch some of the other videos that go in this series. But when I've observed other people who did P3 by gradually adding calories and not getting overly full, and just, kind of eating as they needed, those people seem to stabilize much more easily. So I'm just telling you guys my observation, that the people who do that seem to not have those big fluctuations in weight on phase 3. So it's just food for thought. If you are finding yourself kind of seeming to gain weight in phase 3 and having trouble, that's kind of one of the basics that you might want to try going back to, which is to start kind of trying to get in tune with your body. And when you're eating, you could count calories. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to know how to help you with that, but even more effective would be to eat the amounts of food that make you feel satisfied, not getting overly full, and just see how much food that ends up being. And the people who do that, usually it'll start out the beginning of phase 3 that it won't be that much food, and then as P3 progresses, it will be more as your body adjusts until you get to a point that's kind of like, stable, that's a normal amount of food for your body to be taking in on a daily basis with your daily activities. So anyway, that's my recommendation. I wish that I could, be a good example of that myself, but I wasn't. Thankfully, in the end, everything worked out. But the thing was, for me, is I was actually trying to actively gain muscle when I was in my phase 3s. Phase 3s? Anyway, but so, gaining muscle takes an excess of calories as well, just like gaining fat. So, in my case, I was actually still eating excess calories for my body in a sense. Whereas, now, I've actually lost fat since then, without HCG. So I've been able to experience what that's like without HCG, to eat in a manner that's normal for my body to just maintain my weight or even lose a little bit. And then it's been very interesting. So I hope you guys found that helpful. Stay tuned for the last video in this series. These are the 6 different factors that affect you possibly gaining weight in phase 3 and why that could be and how to address it. Okay, you guys, take care. You can find me on Facebook, HCG Chica, and Instagram, HCG Chica, and of course my website, hcgchica.com. Take care, guys. Bye.